Today on the Mustang, we're going to be working on cleaning up the outside. So it's in fairly decent condition already, but you can definitely tell that it's been either thrown through a car wash or been used with the classic dish soap and just rag routine. So it needs a little work to say the least. There are a few scratches. We're going to try to clean this up as best we can. It's not going to be perfect, but we're going to do what we can to make it look quite a bit shinier, because right now it's medium dull and we're going to want to make that awesome. So first things first, I had a bunch of paint scuffs on the side. I'm using WD-40 and a Scotch-Brite to get it off. I wouldn't recommend this with a Scotch-Brite. A Mr. Clean Magic Eraser would work a lot better. This did get the paint off, but it left some scratching and hazing behind, which we got rid of most of by the end. But looking back on it in hindsight, which is always 20/20, I wouldn't do it again. So you can see some of that hazing there. We got most of it off, but again, I wouldn't recommend using a Scotch-Brite for this. So you always want to start with the wheels. I used a purple powder degreaser instead of a heavy duty wheel cleaner because that's just what I had on hand and it worked out just fine. You want to go ahead and let this soak for a little bit, then hit it with a bunch of brushes, get inside the spokes, get all that dirt out, and then this is also a perfect time that you're going to want to hit the tires as well because you want to get all that dirt off before you hit them with a shine. Also, you'll see me go over finally with a towel right there. That's just to make sure to get all that extra dust off, then rinse it, and then you can move on to the outside. So for the outside, I did end up using dish soap for this. I know I just ragged on it, but the reason being was I wanted to get as much of the exterior grime and everything off without leaving a little wax and wash behind, because all I had was that wax and wash. So I'm using the dish soap. It'll get everything off, leave the paint bare, but we're gonna hit it with a few buffs and then polishes before we finally wax it. So that's the reason I wanted to do that. Also, you'll notice that I didn't use a spray foam on the outside. The reason being is I just actually don't have a foam gun. So that's the only reason for that. I just made sure to rinse it off as many times as I could. You don't really see it because I forgot to hit record on it, but I went through and blasted all the areas, the tight areas, with the water to make sure I got any and as much dirt release as I can before I went over it with the hand wash. With a car that's kind of been neglected for a while, it's always a good idea to get those insides of the door panels. Reason being is they're often neglected and they're a quick cleanup, and the interior will be tackling later as well, so it's not a huge deal. I did try to get inside the trunk area as well, but it didn't actually turn out that well because there was some hard mold on. As for drying, just use a towel. Try not to push into the paint as you do it. Just use the towel to glide on the surface, let it do the work instead of you pushing it hard. Get all that off without leaving as little swirls as possible behind. So after drying it off, I did hit it with a bug and tar remover just to get off as much gunk from the bottom half of the panels as I could. I wanted to make sure that as I went to the clay bar, it was going to be as smooth as possible, just getting off that top grime without having to do as much work later on down the road. So I used a mother's clay bar on this, and it worked out really well with the detail they gave me. I think it had a little wax in, but we buffed it off later and it wasn't a huge deal. I tried to show and focus on that, see how much gunk was off, but you couldn't really see, so I just skipped over it. But as we were doing the clay bar, just remember to get the windows as well, because that's an often forgotten piece, but it really brings out that shine, and a clear window, as you notice, will really give you a really good look at the car as you finish up and go through detailing. So you see me do this a lot, or after every single step where I used a buff or wax or clay bar or whatever, is I get a clean microfiber towel and just wipe off the entire car, just to make sure I got every last residue off. After this, I went ahead and used the Meguiar's Ultimate Compound, which is a haze reducer, tries to get rid of some of that extra oxidation, that was on the outside, but ended up not doing a whole lot because the paint in general just isn't the highest quality. It faded really quickly and I couldn't bring back a whole lot, but I wanted to do it anyway. It actually did the most work on the headlights, bringing back a lot of shine back, but I was still glad I used it. If I had to do it again, I would use it just because I really like the product and it does bring back a little bit of shine back to it. So as I was cleaning the wing, I was a bit disappointed that I couldn't bring back a whole lot of shine. The paint was just too faded and cracked to do a whole lot, but I was still happy that I cleaned it up anyway. So I would love to repaint it, but it's one of those rabbit holes where I'd have to repaint the whole entire car if I did, just because the whole car is faded in different spots. So after the Meguiar's, I went to Griot's 3-in-1 liquid wax. This removed a bunch of light scratches as well, puts on a protectant as well. So this wasn't the final wax, but I used this after the polishing compound from Meguiar's, just because I know I'd finished up with a wax, and so this almost be as a double layer to protect it even a bit more. And it did bring off a good amount of swirls, so I was really happy with, once we went to the car and did it, that it really started to make the doors especially look really good. Not having any swirls more and bringing back a lot of shine. And then as you see here, I used the Meguiar's cleaning wax. I really am in love with this liquid wax thing here. I used to use the hard wax, but this is so much easier to apply and it comes off so well. And it's a super forgiving product that brings out such an amazing shine. And it's just the easiest wax I've used. Even with the Meguiar's hard wax, this is by far so much easier, and I 10 out of 10 recommend it. I ended up doing the front just by hand with the Griot's liquid wax and also the wax later on, which I did the whole car by hand, but I did the front by hand here because I just was having trouble getting the orbital into it, into all the crevices that I need to. I think it's an 8-inch orbital, so it's just a bit big and clunky for that front section, and it just worked out so much better by hand. So I went ahead and did the windows next. Usually people will wait till the very end to clean them up, but I wanted to do them now because they had a big haze over them and I wanted to wax them with the liquid wax just because it gives a great shine. It makes the water run off so much easier, especially here living in the Pacific Northwest. It really helps out a lot. So I wanted to do that and to make sure they were all clean before I put that liquid wax on. And usually we wait to the end, but I was just figuring I'd knock it out now. So as I went further on with the car, it started to get sunny out, and I wouldn't recommend doing this in direct sunlight if you want to get a professional result, but this worked out well for me. I just had to make sure to do smaller sections and quickly come back with the towels and wipe it all off. So I just acted quickly and it worked out just fine for me. I didn't have any wax seal on the car that I couldn't get off, so it worked out just fine at the end. But again, if I could do it, I wouldn't recommend doing it in direct sunlight. The final step in cleaning the car is to restore a bunch of the black. Again, I used the Meguiar's tire shine just like we did in the engine bay, just to clean up the plastics, and it really brings back that good black gloss that you're looking for, and it sticks around, especially on the mirrors and that front cowl there. And then while you're at it, you'll just move right down to the tires and get those all cleaned up. So I did as much of the front little scoops as I could. I had a bit of problems with that honeycomb, just tough to reach in there. If I had a brush, it'd work better, but I just don't have any on me, unfortunately. And then with the tires, after I spray them, I like to wipe them down so that way it gives more of a satin finish instead of a super wet gloss, which in my opinion just looks better, but that all comes down to preference. So the finished product took a total of about 2 days to finish, and I was really happy with the way that it turned out. Don't worry, I have some better shots coming up soon with pictures that I enhanced just a little bit so you guys can see the shine. But overall, this is just a great way to bring back a little life to a car that was just a little run down a bit. And as I'm slowly cleaning up this car a bit more, it just makes me like it more and more. I love the way that it looks. I love how the paint shines. I wish I could respray the whole entire car, but maybe for another day. There you go. That's kind of how you clean a car. There's the enhanced pictures for you. And don't forget to just do the usual as you finish up the video. Dislike, unsubscribe, leave your hate in the comments, guys. Thanks for watching. I don't know what I'm saying. Bye!